The kinetic molecular theory states that molecules are in constant motion. So since molecules are in constant motion, the thing that determines whether something is a solid, liquid, or gas depends on how much motion those molecules are in. Now there's a couple of things you should know about substances. First of all, kinetic energy drives molecules apart. So the higher the kinetic energy, the farther apart the molecules are going to be. Now on the other hand, intermolecular forces hold molecules together. So they're doing the opposite thing of kinetic energy. They're opposing kinetic energy, because the closer the larger the intermolecular forces are, the closer the molecules are going to be together. And the closer the molecules are, the intermolecular forces are therefore stronger. Now, I want to look at the three different phases of substances and look at the balance between intermolecular forces and kinetic energy, because that's what determines whether a substance is a solid, liquid, or a gas. Alright, so in a solid, the molecules are close together, and since the molecules are close together, the intermolecular forces are going to be very strong, and the intermolecular forces are going to be much larger than the kinetic energy. So since the molecules are close together, that's why it's a solid. Now, many times the kinetic energy is low, depending on the temperature. And so that's what makes the intermolecular force much greater than Ke, because Ke is generally low and the intermolecular forces are high, creating a big difference between the two. Now in this case, the molecules really only vibrate because they can't move around that much. Now, in a liquid, molecules have absorbed energy, and so they're going to move faster. So the intermolecular forces are generally equal to or slightly bigger than Ke. So that right there means bigger than or equal to. So if they are bigger than, it's just going to be by a little bit. Molecules break free from each other, but the forces still hold them close by. And so the molecules can just slide past each other. So now we're going to move on to gases. Now I hope you're seeing the trend here. The more something's moving, the more it's going to be to the gas phase. So solids are when things aren't moving very much, and a gas is when the molecules are moving a lot. And so that kind of makes sense in your head. Solid, like you think about example of water, when it's frozen. It makes sense everything's frozen in place. But when it's a gas, it's free to move everywhere. So you can guess that if originally intermolecular forces were bigger, now they're equal, this time kinetic energy is generally going to be bigger than the intermolecular forces. In this case, molecules have absorbed even more energy, so now they're moving faster. And the intermolecular forces become much less than Ke. So Ke is much larger than the intermolecular forces, and now molecules are breaking free because the intermolecular forces cannot hold them close. So now they're moving everywhere, and that allows the molecules to be in the form of a gas.